Welcome to chapter 3. In this chapter 3, we are going to discuss different data types of the Python. So mostly we are going to cover numbers and string data type only in this chapter, and we have other important data types in Python. Those we are going to cover in the next chapter. They are like list, tuple, dictionary, and sets. So we will cover all those four data types in next session, next chapter. But now in this chapter 3, we will cover the number data type and the functions are there around the numbers, and similarly for the functions that are around the strings, those we are going to discuss in this chapter. Let's move on to the numbers data type. What is number data type? Generally, the data is stored in memory can be of many types. For example, a person's name is stored as alphabets, age is stored as a numeric value, and one's address is stored as alphanumeric characters. So, number data types store numeric values. What are they? Like, we have four different numerical types supported by Python, and they are integer, nothing but the sign integer. It can be a plus or minus, and we have long integers that can be represented in hexadecimal or octadecimal, and then we have floats. In short, we call it float. So generally, its full form is floating point, and then we have complex numbers. So number objects are created when you assign a value to them. For example, if you say a equals to 1, so that means automatically you are creating a number data type and you are assigning that value to variable a. Now a is holding number data type value. Examples, so as I mentioned, it is a equals to 100, nothing but this is integer assignment, and b equals to 10.4, nothing but this is floating point assignment. Let me show you this with examples in my PyCharm IDE. So here it is already assigned. Let me tweak this. So for A, we are assigning 10. That means we are assigning the number. And for B, let's say like we are going to assign 1.67. Okay. And for C, we're going to assign some long number. Okay. And so we're going to create one more variable. It is nothing but D, and assign some complex number to this. So a equals to, I will display a here. What is a? Similarly, for other variables also. I'm trying to print the values of the variable, what it is showing when you print it in the console. So just run this and see. So integers can be of any length. It is only limited by the memory available. A floating number is accurate up to 15 decimal places. Integer and floating points are separated by decimal point. Similarly, like 1 is integer, 1.0 is floating point. So all the difference we have is just a dot, decimal value. Complex numbers are written in the form of x plus yj, where x is the real part and y is the imaginary part in this expression. And if you see here, it is displayed a value, b value, c value, and a d value at the same time. And we can also delete the reference to a number object by using the delete statement. And the syntax of the delete statement is just you have to write delete, del, that's it. And if you want to remove the, simply like if you want to unassign the value of the variable, just you can say delete a. And if you are doing it for multiple variables, you can say like a comma b comma c, like that. Okay, so let's see what it will print. For delete, I mean I'm unassigning the value of a variable here and see what it is holding now. Okay, we already unassigned and we removed the reference of it, right? So that's why we're getting the error. Name is not defined because we removed the reference of number object using this statement. Till that it is printed properly, we see, but the next time it is getting the error. The error is also clear. Name is a is not defined. Okay, this is about the number data type. Now let's move on to mathematical functions. Python provides various built-in mathematical functions to perform mathematical calculation, and these are the most commonly used mathematical functions in Python. And for using these functions, and we need to import the math module uh, for ABS and max, minimum, and round. So for these power, for these we don't need to import math, they come by default. But for any other mathematical functions, we need to import math module. Then only we can continue use those functions. And at the same time, we have two constants also supported by math module. So they are like pi and exponential e. I hope you already know these mathematical significance use of this pi and e. So let me show you these with the examples how this works in my PyCharm. We have different functions like ABS, so it is already showing, and square root, right? We have this will return the absolute value of the input value, and we have max function, so you can give multiple values as input to this max function, so it will return the largest of these arguments. And similarly for minimum, it will return the minimum smallest of its argument. And to round off the values, you can use the round function. And power value 2 power 3, 3 power 4, like that. If you want to make that mathematical calculation, you can use a power function. Okay, let me show you that. Import math. I'm importing the math module, and I'm going to print absolute value of minus 20. Okay, that I'm going to print. So here itself we can give, and what it will give, what is the absolute value of minus 20. What is the absolute value of minus 20? It is 20. If it is semicolon, that would be easy to read. See, okay. Similarly, I will do this for other functions also. Let's find the square root of 20. So square root is part of math module. So I have to give math dot. Okay. And what about others we have? Let's say like if I am going to find the ceiling value of 11.2. Math dot ceil 11.2, and then 3 raised to say like 4. Okay, 3 power 4. See what it will return. Power of 3 comma 4. Somewhere we are missing the reference. Sorry, should give math. Okay, if you see here, this already discussed. Square root of 20 is 20 in 4.47. If you want, you can give absolute value so that you can see like it is 5. Square root of 25 is, sorry, here we have to change. Okay, it's 5, and we are getting floating value 5. And what is the ceiling of 11.2? It is 12. And the opposite of the ceiling, right? Floor value, you can do that also. The function name is math.floor, FLOOR, and 3 power 4 is 81. And let me show you other two also, minimum and maximum values. Then we can close this mathematical function. Say max of 7,8, and similarly minimum of 3,8. So the maximum value in this arguments is like 8 and minimum is 3. That's what it is returned. So you can use the max and minimum function. And if you observe, I didn't give any math dot here. That means it comes by default. You don't need to import math module when you want to use math and max and minimum functions. Okay, that's all about mathematical function. And now move on to trigonometric functions. So I hope you already know all these trigonometric functions. In mathematics, we generally use, right? Sine, cos, tan, all these functions. So it returns the sign of x in radians. Okay. Similarly for cos, and it converts. So the degrees function converts angle x from radians to degrees, and vice versa. Radians of x converts angle x from degrees to radians. And we have other functions also, and these are all resides in the math module. So I will give you the simple example. Here we'll see what is the sine 90 value. Math dot 90. Let me delete this. Okay, 0.08399. This is the value of sine 90. Similarly for other functions also, everything is same, just change the name of the function. Okay, so that's why I'm not going to cover it. Okay, and even for conversions also, math.degrees and math.radians, yeah, we can use that function, those functions. Okay, that's about the trigonometric functions. Next is random number functions. There are several random number functions supported by Python. Random numbers have applications in research, games, cryptography, simulation, and other applications. So, below are the commonly used random number functions. And to run these functions, we need to import a random module. Earlier, for mathematical functions, we used math module, right? But here we have to use random module, because all these functions resides in random module. Okay, so we have one function, choice of sequence. So this returns a random value from a sequence like a list, tuple, string. So you just have to give a choice of the multiple values inside of that, and it will give one random value from that sequence. And the shuffles, there as name it suggests, and it will shuffle all the values inside the list. Okay, of course, so it will just shuffle the list of the items, but it won't return anything, because the purpose of it is just to shuffle the items inside the list. That's it. And the random, this is the mostly used among all these functions. So it returns a random floating value, and that too that resides that is between 0 and 1 only. Okay, of course we can tweak this to get the value. We can tweak this function, we can get the value, whatever the value we need, like 0 to 1000 or something like that. Okay, and uniform, so this will give you the range, like it generates a random floating number in this range between x and y. Okay, if you say 10 comma 100, and what it will do, it will generate a random number between this 10 and 100. So this is also mostly used one. So let me show you this. So first we have to import random module. Let's say like I'm going to take one string. Say it is wings of tech. And now print choice function. Okay, so what it will print, this choice function. Now write the choice function here. So choice is part of random module, so we have to give random dot choice. So of course it is showing already sequence. So I am giving this string, input string, as a sequence. So it's giving E. Now it is giving me yes, just randomly it will give you the one character. Next G. Now N. Now S. And then again E, like this. Okay. And let's say like we have one list. Of course, we are going to discuss this list data type in the next chapter. Just for the sake of this example, I'm taking one list. So lists are generally closed by these square brackets. Okay, let's say like we have 6 items in that list, and now just try to shuffle that list. Okay, random dot shuffle list. Okay, let me give the comma here. let me print it 2 times, before and after. See, I defined the list as 10, 3, 4, 1, 8, 9 in this order. First, I printed that list, right? And then after I applied the random shuffle function. Now see, this is the return from the shuffle function. As I said earlier, it's just to shuffle the numbers and it won't return anything, just none. Okay, it returned none. And then I printed the list again. If you see, it shuffled the items 8, 19. So 8 is at earlier 4th place, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it came at 1st place. It is 0th place and this is 1st place. Okay. Similarly, we have other functions. Let's say like random. Okay. You can directly say random dot random. At the same time, let me print other also like uniform. Random dot uniform. I am trying to print the value between 5, 10. See, so random function will print the random float value between 0 and 1. As I said, now it printed 0.2, and the random float value between 5 and 10 is 7.7. If I say 5,000, let's see what it will print. Again, it printed 0.4, different value now, and now it is 292 because we asked them to print. We asked Python to print random value between 5 and 1000. Okay. This is about random number functions. Let's move on to the string data type. Okay. Strings in Python are identified as contiguous set of characters represented in the quotation marks. Python allows for either pairs of strings or pairs of single quote or double quotes. Subset of strings can be taken using the slice operator. Okay. Slice operator is either double bracket like square bracket, and inside we can have colon also. And the index starts with 0. As I explained earlier, let's say like if you have index wings of text string and the W is given index as 0 and the next one as 1, like that. So index starts with 0. Okay, this is same across all other data types also, even for list also, like the 0 index 0 is item value 0 is 10 and then value 1 is 3, like that. Even for string also it's the same thing. Okay, and whenever you want to refer the end of the string, let's say like h, so you can say -1. Okay, and string ends with -1. The plus sign is the concatenation operator and the asterisk is the repetition operator. I'll explain with the demo what all these. Okay, and we have few other string inbuilt functions also. We are going to discuss all those functions now. So these are all the commonly used string functions. Yes, we have so many functions because in day-to-day activities in any project, so we deal with the strings only, right, in most of the times. That's why we have many functions, and these are all commonly used functions also. It's like length of the string. So if you want to find the length of the string, we have to use this function len of string, and at the same time to convert the lowercase, okay, to convert any string to lowercase, lower function, and to upper class, and capitalize all the things like capitalize function and I strip R strip and strip, and what is the maximum character in that string. To find that, you have to use max function and minimum function, and I will explain all these things with the example, okay, with the demo. Okay, let's take one string. So like so variable is yes, and the string is Prince of Technology. Okay, this is my string. If I want to change, similarly, simply we can print like this. After printing the string, I want to print the character count in that string. Okay, so for that, I have to do, for the simplicity, I will give get length of, so what is the function name? Length of yes, right? So let me run this. So total characters, the length of the string is 19 here. This includes spaces also, because space is one of the characters in string. Let's say if you want to convert everything into lowercase. Okay. So you have to say lower, s dot lower. Okay. Similarly, we have reverse case like upper, right? So let me write that also. We have upper. Similarly, we have to give upper. Sorry, we already given s dot, right? So we don't need to give any arguments. So this error is clearly saying that. So lower function takes no argument. Okay. So this is a string. We have one uppercase. Starting letter is uppercase W, and now it is converted to lowercase. Of course, all the characters, and for upper, all the characters are converted into uppercase. And we have, let me write directly. Okay, I won't write anything here due to time constraints. So you can say swap case. Okay, so this will simply swap the case of the character. So this W is earlier upper, now it becomes lowercase. All other are lowercase, now all became uppercase. Just swap the case as it's there in the name itself. Okay, just to swap the cases. And capitalize, we have so of course first letter is already capitalized, that's why we don't see any difference there. And we have title, and then we have strip function. So let's say like left strip. Okay, let's see what it will give. If you keep lowercase the first letter, so it automatically showing the uppercase here. And for the strip case, let's see like if you have like this. Okay, let me delete all these things. So now I'm printing only. See, if you see, there are spaces here. So we asked to strip all the left spaces. Okay, by default it strips the spaces. Let's say like we have some other characters like this. Okay, I have exclamatory mark. Okay, let's see what it will do. And I'm asking to strip exclamatory mark. See, strip the exclamatory mark, and this is left side. And if you keep r strip, that means you want to strip the characters of the right side. Similarly, if you want to strip anywhere in the string, you just have to give strip function. Okay, so let's say like if I want to strip all the bows, whoa, okay, it didn't work. Okay, stop it. Start. Actually, not from anywhere. Like if you want to remove the left side and right side also, we can keep like strip function like this. So now this will remove the beginning and ending characters. Now it is removed exclamatory marks from the starting and ending also here. Okay, so let me remove this. Let me show you another function, that is max. Okay, max of yes. So maximum character that we have is y. Similarly, minimum space, that's why it didn't show up. Okay, and we have replace and count that returns the number of occurrences of string in the range. So some like that. We have other functions also, and find function, so that returns the index of the string if a string occurs in the range beginning and ending. Okay, so like that we have different functions. And then we have is decimal functions, and so that returns true if a Unicode string contains only decimal characters and false otherwise. And so we have other functions like is alpha or is all num or is digit. Let's say like one example is all num. Okay, if I give like 1 2 3, and this is alphanumeric, right, but not all the numbers. So if I say if s dot is all num, so obviously I don't have all the numbers in the string, that's why it given me the false. If I say now only 1 2 3, it gave me true. So similarly we have other functions like is digit. Okay, is alpha, nothing but it checks for the alphanumeric value, sorry, alpha, and is lower. So this function will check for whether that string has at least one cased character and all cased characters are in lowercase and false otherwise, like that. Similarly we have is upper. Okay, and then is numeric. So we have these kind of functions to validate the data type actually. Okay, we have each space and each title also. Okay, this is all about the string functions. Okay, and in next session, next chapter, we are going to discuss remaining data types like list, set, dictionary, and a tuple. So we're going to discuss that with the examples. Thank you.